Hello, what is up, This is Alertwolf here to bring you another DC Nation review. And this one is of Young Justice. Season 2, Episode 16. This is called Complications. And basically, there's two stories, and I'm just going to get rid of the first story right now. The A and B story. Now, the A story is, we finally, we get back to the ship, Black Manta ship that has Aqualad, obviously, Miss Martian, and Artemis, and what goes on there. And before I get into that, that's the bigger story. I will get into the other side of this, which is the B story, which is the Nightwing story. And basically, they're investigating what happened to the team. Because, obviously, we know at the end of the last episode, Blue Beetle and Green Beetle did their job. Got rid of all those guys. What's funny to me is, I still think, even though they didn't find him in this episode, I'm pretty sure that What's-His-Face got away, Arsenal, so it'll be interesting to see if he's still on War World. And that's where they are. They go to War World, they start investigating, Beetle puts on a good performance. He says a boom tube opened up underneath him. He flew up instinctually and didn't get caught in the tube, but everybody else vanished. And there is radiation from a boom tube, so obviously it won't be used. And I'm pretty sure, so I'm going to say he didn't fake it. I'm pretty sure that's what he used. He boom tubed them somewhere. But, and everybody bought his little spiel, and he bounces off the planet. Obviously, he said Impulse has the key, but in reality, we all know he has the key. But Rocket and Captain Marvel are standing guard in the key room, so the key can't be put back in. Now, I will say this. Those are two heavy hitters guarding. So, Rocket's power base is crazy with the energy powers. And, hell, you saw her backing up Fate. That's enough said. And we all know what Captain Marvel's capable of. He's another Superman powerhouse. So basically, throughout the episode, we get cuts of him investigating. He starts to see there were signs of a struggle, which would be counter to what Blue Beetle said. After all, he said it just happened. It was just a surprise, There was no time to react. But he's seen like scrapings on the floor. He's seen panels damaged for the airlock. So, and then eventually he finds the Batarang. And the Batarang has Blue Beetle cells on it. And pretty much Nightwing is starting to figure things out. Now, there's one clip, which is, I believe, how the episode ends. It doesn't matter. I'll give this away because it's part of his story, where he's realizing, he's piecing together what's happening. He's in the Batcave. He's looking at the monitor, and he sees What's-His-Face being heralded by the Reach, and he said he got his power from the Reach. So, and then, Nightwing breaks the Batarang, obviously realizing, or the Robarang, I don't know, obviously realizing that Blue Beetle is now one with the Reach, and he just got rid of half his team. So, we have that. And we have no idea where they are. And that's the B story. Now let me get into the A story. Okay. So it's been a few weeks, and they're still healing Aqualad. You know, Slade is, Slade, that's from Teen Titans, man. Nah. Deathstroke, yeah, because that's a better name than his real name. Is still watching them, waiting for a sign of mess up, you know. Because remember, she has that power collar on. And so that keeps going on. Black Manta's getting impatient. Basically, Deathstroke says that he's getting better, but he's not there yet. Now, you know what? I will say this. Throughout this, I kind of feel bad for Black Manta. I know he's a super villain and all, but I do. I mean, I feel for the guy, but I'll get more into that later. So now they're worried because he's fine already. They've already repaired his mind, but they have to figure out a way for her to get out, and she doesn't want them to blow their cover. So there's this, and they're trying to figure out an escape plan. Black Manta gives them an ultimatum of a day before he's going to kill her, which she's taking too long. Then we have the issue of, you know, then we have the issue of basically, while they're in the water, they get boarded. And who boards them but Cheshire and Sportsmaster? You know, they're gonna go avenge Artemis, their sister and daughter, you know? Or not, you know what I mean. Obviously Sportsmaster's daughter, Cheshire's sister. So, they're going after it. Now, he says he's only there for his rep, you know, and she's there because she's trying to avenge her sister. So they break in, and it is just the distraction necessary to start the ball rolling. Now we get a couple of good fights. Sportsmaster goes after Black Manta, and I'm gonna make this one of my thumbnails, an action shot of them fighting, because their fight was just awesome. But Black Manta ends up losing that fight. But I've never seen Sportsmaster look so awesome ever. So I was like, all right, and so that's pretty cool. And then we have, Cheshire. She goes in, and she goes in to the room that has all of them in it, and I'm jumping the gun. Tigress decides to leave and go help Black Manta, and when she leaves, she has guards sent to Caldor's room, and she then proceeds to guard the control room. Alright, and so what she does is she flips off the collar and she heads back, but at this point they're all fighting in the room, and with all her powers taken out, she's trying to explain to her mentally what's going on, and you don't understand, but just then that collar was turned off. It was before she had turned off the collar, so her mental powers were completely taken out for a second. Then she was knocked out. Then the collar was undone. But before she was knocked out, they did shoot out the camera monitoring them, and then she tried to talk, but Cheshire knocked her out. And she still didn't understand why she was helping him. Then obviously Aqualad had to fight for real. She's like, oh, faking an illness. Alright. And so she's fighting. So they're fighting. And, Jade and him are going at it. And then we have the fight, the other fights happening. And again, both, I still say the Sportsmaster Black Manta fight is amazing. Then Tigress jumps in to help Black Manta. And Black Manta says, you take it from here. I'm gonna go check on my son. I don't know why I'm doing this voice for this review, but I am. Every time she fakes being a bad guy. So he goes to help his son She fights. She fights her father, and is losing. And just at the last second, Miss Martian wakes up. She phases off her collar, and she does like a mental burst, and explains things to Sportsmaster, and Jade, and Artemis, and what's going on. And she's like, "Oh, well, you're alive. That's good stuff." And she shows him some flashbacks in an interesting way. I like the way they did them. It wasn't gratuitous flashback. It was new animation. You know what I mean? So basically, after that, and Sportsmaster's like, "I don't believe this." She's like, "Can't you feel your own daughter's presence?" "Nah, I can't feel my daughter. I don't even feel your presence here. This is all hokey balokey, bull snots, duggery." But so she's like, "Don't worry, I'll prove to him that I'm really his daughter." And so Mental bursts out. Black Manta bursts in the room. With her powers back, she stops him. Meanwhile, the fight with Sportsmaster and his daughter goes off. She counters one of his moves using a kick, and he's like, "I taught you that kick, sweetie." He's like, "All right, you're my daughter, you bitch. So let me get this straight. You're both schooling Black Manta and the Light." I could dig that. And so he's instantly like, he's not pissed that he lost his position of power. None of that shit. He's like, oh, you guys, you're fucking the Light. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. They just fucked me too. That's beautiful, girl. That's beautiful. And super villain or not, he is happy. His baby is alive. You know what I mean? His littlest girl. As much as he can be for being a psychotic killer. So she's like, "One more favor," so they make the fight look good. And then Jade and Tessa and Miss Martian have an understanding that they have to. They're both trying to protect Artemis, so they have to make their fight look good. So Jade and Miss Martian leave, and they go to kill Black Manta. And then, miraculously, Aqualad defends them, and they both escape. So Aqualad saves his father, and they're all in they end up, you have Sportsmaster fighting Deathstroke, and he's like, "You're an idiot." He's like, "They're gonna betray you just like they did me." And he's like, "Not if I get a seat at their table." He's like, "Yeah, you're an idiot." And their fight is pretty cool. And then, you have the sisters fighting, and then the sisters fighting is funny. She's like, "So I know why Dad's here," and she's like, "So you're here because you're trying to avenge me. That's so sweet." She's like, "Shut up, little sister. I'm just pissed that you can't babysit your niece." And they have that fight, but they have to draw it to a conclusion. So the green, Miss Martian comes down, breaks up the fight in her own way, and they all escape. So there you go. And they get away, and that solves that problem. Now, and then we have moments of the parents of these kids. And I will say this, there is a problem though. Although they've solved this emergency of getting her out of danger, eventually Simon is going to wake up, and he's going to tell them what happened, that they're in on. So I guess they'll cross that bridge when they come to it. They should have probably just left too. But and now we'll get into why I feel bad for Black Manta. Now, throughout this whole thing, Black Manta's worried about his son. And when he saw that, he explained to the Light that when he was placed in mortal danger, that was enough to snap his son out of it, and his son saved him. There was so much pride there that was my boy. Seeing me in trouble was enough to break him out of it. Was enough to snap him back. There was a love, bond, pride, all those emotions mixed into Black Manta. And it's gonna stop when eventually Aqualad betrays him. Oh man. And I feel for Black Manta, because, you know, super villain or not, he's bonding with his kid, he thinks, and he's so proud, and oh man, it's gonna be bad. Now on the flip side, Jade goes back with her kid, and she's visiting her mom, and her mom, you know, in the wheelchair, and she's like, treasure this time with your girl, because sometimes you never know when you lose them. And she looks at a picture of Artemis when she's a little girl, and Mom, about Artemis, she goes, I got some good news. And you don't get to see what she says, but we know that she's gonna let her in on the secret that she's alive, and that's good stuff. Now, all right, so that was the episode. I mean, again, it ends with right after this the Blue Beetle stuff, and I love this episode. It was a lot of fun. I'm gonna give it 3.5. 3.5 out of 5. It was a very good episode. The fights were amazing in it. The narrow escapes and all that. And just some closure to this part of the story, because we're winding down in the season here. I mean, the show itself is winding down. There's only a few episodes left, unfortunately. And this is where I remind you guys, check out my description below. There is a link for a petition to please save Green Lantern and Young Justice. It's a one package deal. I'm not making you fill out 2 separate petitions for each show. What I did was, this isn't my, I never did explain this. This isn't my petition. I looked at a site that does petitions, looked up to see what was active, and this one was a petition for both shows. So I figured, it's easier to do one big ass petition as opposed to 2 smaller ones, and I put it down on the comments. At the same time, I also did look up the one for Tron, and if you're a Tron fan, I think I'm gonna include that one there too, a link for to save Tron as well. So again, if any of these 3 shows you want to see saved, there is still time. Hopefully we can save them. Normally, I mean, even with the petition signed and done, it's still a shot in the dark, but at least you're proactive about it. So fill out the petition. And that's enough out of me. So click it up if you like it, comment if you must, and please, please, please subscribe if you can. And this is Alert Wolf signing out.